Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let us see more detail about bucket property. One of the bucket property, that is versioning. So by default, versioning is disabled. At the time of your versioning is disabled, if I upload object with same name, if I upload object with same name to my bucket, then the latest object only present. All the previous objects will be replaced with the current object. That means if both objects with the same name is there, then my older object will be replaced by my new object. Let's say I have company website. For that, I build a code and deployed a code. To save the backup, I choose an S3 bucket, and in that I stored currently with the name website.py. What is the name? Website.py. With this name, I stored my current website's code. Now, due to client request, so I need to update my code and provide some more functionalities. Now I updated my code. Now for the client request, I again created my new website. Now I uploaded my new code to S3 bucket. I again upload my new code to S3 bucket with the same name, that is website.py. Now this object is created previously. Now I uploaded another object with the name website.py. At that time, what happens? At the time, what happens is, whatever the previously existing object, that will be replaced by the current website.py. Since both are having same names, and the versioning is even disabled, the current object will be removed and a new website.py, what I am placing the latest update, that will be placed here. So now old website.py is deleted and this new website.py is placed at the same place in the bucket. So we don't have both website.py, that is previous version of my website is not present. Now let's say I have a need to use the previous website.py code. Can I able to access it? No, because since it is not present in S3 bucket, you do not have the code, so you would not have to access it. So it only have what? The latest version of your website.py. So in companies, it may be possible that you may need the previous versions of your websites also, right? Yes. So in order to store previous versions, of your files are nothing but objects, right? So in order to store previous versions, or else you can say all the versions of your objects, you have to enable this versioning. So what you need to do, you just need to enable this versioning. So whenever you enable versioning, all the previous versions of your object, that means all the versions of your object will be present. And how they are separated? By using versioning ID. By using version ID, a unique version ID is provided to each and every object. Whenever you upload an object to the bucket, when versioning is enabled, then a unique version ID is provided to the object. So previously, when your versioning is disabled, at that moment of time, if you upload any object to a bucket, Then do I got any version ID? No, I did not get any version ID because there I don't have any need to store same object name objects. So here, in order to store same object name objects, I need a separation between them. So to provide that separation, you have a unique version ID is there. Now, how can I save these all versions of my website? By enabling versioning. So let's say I enabled versioning of my bucket. So don't worry, I'll show you how to enable your versioning. Now you have uploaded a file. Name is website.py. Name is same website.py. Now what happens is a new version ID is added to your file. So let's add another file. So because it's already present, right? Let's say I have added F1 is the file name. Now what happens is whenever I uploaded an object to my bucket with name that is nothing but key of my object is F1, what happens now? Since I enabled versioning, my unique version ID is created for this object. So previously, whenever my versioning is disabled, at the time if I upload a object with name website.py, for that is there any version ID? No, the version ID for that is null. So since we are enabled versioning now, my bucket will create a version ID for my currently uploaded object, that is F1. Now you have uploaded another file with F1 name only. Another file is uploaded with F1 name only. Same name, another file is uploaded. Now what happens is, instead of deleting or removing or replacing the previous version of file, a new file is created with the same name, that is with the same key, but a different unique version ID this time, since you enabled your versioning. So if you enable versioning, then all versions of your file will be saved with different version IDs. Now all your data is available in S3. So even you need to access the previous data files, you can able to access them based on your version. So if your versioning is disabled, then by default, what is the version ID? It will be null. So whenever you enabled, what is the version ID? A unique version ID will be provided. So once you enable versioning, you cannot disable bucket versioning again. Once you enable versioning, you cannot disable bucket versioning again. So in order to stop bucket versioning after once enabling my versioning, is there any way? Yes, there is a way, that is suspended. That is what? Suspended option is there. So after enabling option, you have an option called suspended. There you can able to disable your versioning. So whenever you move your versioning state from enabled to suspended, then what happens is, from now no versioning is happened. From now no versioning is accepted. So that is nothing but, if you upload your new object to bucket, then what happens? What is the version ID? Version ID will be null only. So but now the question is, till now you have version, right? In the enabled state, you uploaded many version object, that is F1 with two versionings you uploaded. Now they will be present and maintained. Yes. So all the files that you created with versions in the enabled state will be maintained, because now you entered suspended state, but bucket will keep and maintain all the versions files till now what are present, they will keep it. But from now it does not allow for versioning. So if you want to again create versioning, then you can able to enable your option. Then from that enable state, you can able to move on to suspended state. From suspended state, you can able to move on to enable state, but you are not able to move to disable state. Once you enable versioning, You are not supposed to move to disabled state. Even if you want, you can move to suspended state, or else you want to move to enabled state only. So you are not eligible to move to disabled state when bucket versioning is enabled. Since we are creating different versions for same object in versioning enabled state, there we need to maintain more number of objects for same name, right? That is same object name. We are creating multiple versions, so there we need to maintain much more storage. So it will cost you more compared to your versioning state is in disabled or suspended. Compared to that, if your bucket state is enabled, then it eventually charges you more, because since you are maintaining all the previous versions, right? So that will create you multiple versions of same file, so it leads to cost you more. Let's say let's say by default, let's say by mistakenly, one of my user, that is one of my company user, deleted my file which is stored in my bucket. So he mistakenly deleted whatever the file which is present in my bucket. So does the file is important to me? Yes, for the company the file is important, but due to the user deleted that, it won't be available right in the bucket. Yes. So in order to avoid the deletion, avoid the deletion of your object, so from the console, in order to avoid the deletion of the object, so you need to enable this versioning. Whenever you enabled this versioning, what happen? It will store all the it will store all the objects with latest versions. Let's say I uploaded version 1 or version 1 of f1 file, then it will be stored here. Whenever I uploaded the latest version, that latest version will be stored on the top, and whenever you're accessing f1, you got only the latest version, not the oldest version. If you want the oldest version, then from console you can able to see it and access it. Now I have two versions of my file. Now my bucket versioning is enabled. So how this bucket versioning will prevent my object deletion? How my bucket versioning will prevent my object deletion? So let us see it. So I uploaded f1 file version 1. So initially uploaded. So whenever my company who are accessing my object, they'll get this whenever they see they request for f1. So now I need update, so that I uploaded version 2 of my f1. So whenever they requested for f1, what they get? The latest version or oldest version? The latest version only get. So if you want to see the oldest version, then there is an option called hide and show versionings in management console. If you click on show, then you can able to see all the oldest versions as well. So there you can able to access the oldest versions as well. So in order to prevent version object deletion, so you can use the versioning must be enabled at first. Then let's say you enable the versioning and you uploaded different version objects of f1 in your bucket. Now by mistakenly what your one of the user deleted the latest f1 file, that is latest object f1 file will be deleted. So in that case, what happens? In that case, whenever he click on delete, what happens is your object won't be deleted. Since your versioning is enabled, your object won't be deleted. What happens is a versioned marker, a delete marker is placed, where in the latest version, a delete marker is placed. That's it. Your version object is not deleted. Now, by mistakenly, one of my user deleted my object, that is my f1 object. Then what happens is, so whenever you're accessing, what happens? Your latest version will be accessed. At the same time, whenever he deleted also, the latest version, in the latest version of f1 will be marked as deletion marker. It just marked as deletion marker only. It won't be deleted. So after a user try to delete it, a deletion marker just place it there. After that, how many times your user requested for this data, it will respond as not found only. After deletion marker is placed in any version of your file, it only provides you not found response only. It only provides you not found response only. So even you can able to request for other versioned file from your console. You can see the version id and you can able to request for v1. But if you request for v2 versioned f1 file, even by using version id or directly by using f1, it won't be accessed. It will tell you not found. Why? Because the deletion marker is created on your version v2. Why? Because unknowingly, by mistakenly, you are one of the user try to delete it so that it will be placed. Now still your version 2 is available. Let's say in this way you can able to avoid deletion of your object. Now how can I able to access it? You can able to access directly from console, or else you can say you can able to access it directly from by using the version id. You can able to access your object v2 version object from CLI or SDK. You can able to access them by using the version id. So you can even remove this deletion marker. And now, so this deletion marker is created only when versioning is enabled. Only when versioning is enabled, then only this deletion marker will be created. If your versioning is not enabled, that means it will be either disabled state or suspended state, then your object will be deleted. So no deletion marker is placed on your object. If you want to save your data from deletion, that is a default deletion, mistakenly deletion, then you need to enable versioning. Then only your deletion marker will be created on top of your versioned file. So let's say I want to delete a file that is even when versioning is enabled. I want to delete any version id object. Then how it is possible, sir? I want to permanently delete a versioned object from my bucket. So how is it possible? You can delete it from sdk. You can delete it from sdk by using a command. What is that? Delete object version id. By using this delete object version id from sdk, you can able to delete this. So you can able to delete the latest version. You can able to delete the latest version or any version by using the version id. So whenever your versioning is enabled, at that time if you want to delete your object, then using sdk you can able to delete by using which command? Delete object version id. In place of version id, you need to place whatever the version id of your object. So if you execute this command by using sdk, then whatever the object that you have in your bucket with the version id will be deleted permanently. It will be deleted. So if you enable versioning, then what happens? In your bucket, multiple versions of same file will be created. It will be costly, right? So there will be a need to delete your objects as well. So in that case, if you want to delete your objects whenever your versioning is enabled, to decrease your cost, you use this sdk. You use this command as in sdk to delete your object permanently. To delete your object versioning, that particular version id's object permanently. So in this way you can delete permanently whenever versioning is enabled. So if your versioning is not enabled, then you can able to directly delete it from console itself. There is no deletion marker. So this concept won't come whenever you don't enable your versioning. So by using versioning, what are the things that you can achieve? You can able to store all the previous versions of your object, and you can able to save your objects from deletion. by adding a concept called deletion marker. If you want to delete, even versioning is enabled, then you can use this command in SDK so that you can able to delete particular version ID's object. So this is the concept of version ID property in S3 bucket. Whenever if you create your object from console, if you want to enable this versioning after creating your bucket, if you want to enable this versioning after creating your bucket, then you can see this permission, you can see this under permissions, that is versioning. So you can see this under permissions, that is versioning. So whenever you see this versioning, there you can see disabled option. So whenever you click on it, then you can see these two options. You can click on enable versioning and save. That's it, your bucket versioning is enabled. So if you want to suspend your versioning of your bucket, then so there, once you enabled, you got enabled option here in versioning. So again you click on it, so that you have again two options, that is suspend versioning. So you click on suspend versioning and save. So once you move to enabled state, you do not disable your versioning, you just suspend your versioning. So after suspending also, you can even able to enable your versioning. So by using simply these options. So while creating your bucket also, you can able to enable. So how in second step, so whenever you're creating your bucket from console, what happens is, in the second step, immediate second step, you move on for configuration. You move on for configuration option. So there you need to tell about versioning. So by using simple tick mark, you need to provide whether you want to create your versioning or not. So there also you can able to create while creating itself versioning. So in order to enable your versioning whenever your bucket is created, so there also you can able to enable by using the configuration options which are present under bucket versioning. So these are the two ways from the console you can able to create your versioning. So directly from for created bucket, you can have option called versioning. There you can enable or suspend your versioning, and from creating itself you have options called in second configuration versioning. There you can able to enable. In this way, these are the two ways you can able to create your versioning. So I hope you understood what is the need and when do we need to create the versioning, what is the option of versioning, and how to create from the console. So when it is used, you use it to avoid deletion, that is unknowingly deletion, or else if you want to maintain all the versions of your object, so to provide certain version ID, you enable this version. So if you want to delete, then when versioning is on, to reduce the cost, you can use this command. If your versioning is stopped, then you can able to delete directly from console itself. So how to provide versioning for existing bucket? You just go for the bucket. There you can see versioning property. There you can able to provide enabling or suspending to your bucket. And from console itself, if you want to create this versioning while creating your bucket only, then in the second configuration of your bucket creation, there is an option called versioning that you need to tick it so that your versioning will be enabled. So this is all about versioning property in S3 bucket. I hope you understood this. So thanks for watching. See you back in the next video. I hope this video is understanding to you. So if you feel this video is contentful, then please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. See you back in the next video. Until then, bye bye guys.